What is going on, guys? We are going through the best and worst tattoo TikToks I can find. I think we actually got some good ones today. Let's jump into it. Okay, so we got the first one. Getting a traditional hand poke tattoo in Thailand.
I got a traditional Thai tattoo by the same master as Ed Sheeran here in Bangkok, Thailand. This is Arjanang, who is a Grand Master of Sak Yant traditional Thai hand poke tattoo, known worldwide for his many years experience in his practice, including working on A-listers such as Steven Seagal.
This is my first.
If I ever tattoo a bunch of celebrities, I want pictures of them and me next to each other. Honestly, I just got nothing but stoke and respect for this type of tattooing.
First tattoo ever, so I'm pretty nervous about this.
The very first thing you do is a quick prayer to offer your respects to the creator of Sak Yant.
But yeah, let's skip to the quality of the tattoo because obviously it looks like a super rad experience and I really like the way it wraps around the arm like a couple times. Super cool. Super big pain in the ass to tattoo anything that's wrapping around the arm, so I could only imagine having to hand poke that fucking thing in there. Probably a nightmare, but this dude's like obviously a master.
This was my first tattoo, so we decided to go with a design that just wrapped around my arm. It's really amazing to just watch this guy at work because he's so talented and accurate at this procedure. If you're worried about pain, don't worry, it's very bearable. I would say it's about...
You know, it's funny, I saw him doing like a little rubber band, which I've seen some people try and do on the forearm to get like a perfect wraparound. In my experience, it doesn't work well. So maybe it works well for like the style of tattoo he's doing, but if you're trying to use it as like a perfect line, it's not gonna work. But maybe he's using it as just like a helpful little guide to be like, okay, this is kind of what it looks like. I don't know.
A 4 out of 10. Once the design is complete, you then receive a blessing from the Grand Master. I was also lucky enough to get an add-on design from his apprentice and son.
Here's the finished result. That was relatively pain-free. This took around 2 hours.
So here's a look at it 2 weeks later. I absolutely love it. I'll probably go back for a second one. I'll put the price up on the screen here, but if you're looking to get a Sak Yant tattoo, I highly recommend these guys.
Dude, that's so cool. I always get stoked when people go to Thailand and get these tattoos. I might get one someday. Maybe I'll get a face tattoo like that. No, I don't know. Maybe. We'll see. Okay, on to the next. I know that there's a lot of people who tattoo out there and they tell their clients to like, oh, you know, stay out of the sun. The sun's gonna ruin your tattoos. You make sure that you stay out of the sun or you put sunscreen on. And I'm like, yes, that's true. You should wear sunscreen just in general. I'm in the sun probably more than any of you. I wear a lot of sunscreen. But I don't think a tattoo should be that affected by the sun, at least in this way. I don't know why my tattoos healed so badly.
Oh my God.
Look, that was a bad tattoo before the sun got to it. A lot of this stuff has no outlines and they're relying on the structure of the tattoo with like these super light colors, like a light purple, light blues. Bruh. The sun does affect your tattoos and over time it will break down a lot of color, but this was just a bad tattoo to begin with. I know a lot of tattooers are like super uppity with their clients about like taking care of their tattoos. A lot of times here on Tattoo in Paradise, in a little place called Mexico, right by the beach. So a lot of times people are in the sun immediately after the tattoo. Maybe it ruins the tattoo, maybe it doesn't. Maybe I just did a bad job, who knows? We'll see. My tattoo when it was first done versus 4 years later. Wow, that tattoo crumbled. You know, sometimes I use words that I don't think people fully understand what I mean. This is a tattoo that's crumbled away. Like, obviously it didn't crumble, and it's not a fucking cookie, but parts of it have fallen away and like got absorbed by the skin. There's a bunch of holidays. So like the overall structure of the tattoo is just gone. It's just a weak tattoo. So you knew that there was a black silhouette behind it, but you don't see it. You just see this crumbly, broken up black, and it's just a bad tattoo overall. It's pretty clear what happened here, at least to me. Dude, this tattoo was run through too hard. The tattooer is not good at applying black. You know, if you've never done a tattoo before, maybe you see these blackout sleeves and you're like, fucking easy, how hard can that be? Dude, it's actually really hard. And this is a great example of black done that was applied super poorly. And sometimes people like, dude, you got skin, right? And the more you run through the skin, the more damage that skin is taking. And you need to be able to get in and get out. You want to cause the least amount of damage while making the tattoo as saturated as possible. So like if you're, you got to go through it real fast. And if you got to keep going through it and keep going through it and keep going through it, the tattoo is going to fall apart because you just fucked up the skin too much and it can't handle whatever damage you're doing anymore. So it just completely rejects the ink. And that's what we're seeing here. That's a tattoo gone bad. And that's why it's really important to have tattooers who are tattooers, to understand the technical application of putting a tattoo in. Because if you don't have tattooers who, maybe they can do a tattoo that looks good for the first 2 days, but after that, tattoo's gonna fucking fall apart. And that's a good example of it. I know it says 4 years later, but I guarantee you this tattoo has looked like shit pretty much since the moment it healed. It doesn't matter whether it was 2 weeks, 4 weeks, 15 years, this was a bad tattoo from the jump, because you don't see this in black unless the application was done poorly. And that's what we're seeing. I have seen with some colors, like they look absolutely perfect, great a year later, and then the color starts to crumble away like this, even though the technical application of the tattoo was fine, it healed fine, it looked great for some time, but then that ink, that pigment wasn't very strong and it just ends up crumbling away like this. So you can see that same effect in color, but not because of the application, because of the actual color itself. Look, dude, nothing is gonna look in the skin the same way that black will. And so if you see a tattoo like this that was done in black and it looks like this fucking bad, it was because of the technical application. My dudes, my dudettes. Okay, so this dude's speaking Spanish, but I really liked his fucking video. He put together a few different photos that I really liked, and I wanted to talk about them because, look, dudes, I know for a fact that a lot of you guys haven't seen enough healed tattoos to see what they're supposed to look like and what they age into. And a lot of times, people who are just getting into tattoos have only seen fresh photos because of Instagram, because of the internet. Most people don't have a realistic idea of what tattoos are supposed to look like or going to look like. So before you guys get into getting tattooed, let's look at some of these healed versus not healed. That's a brand new hip to be square on the hip, and you see how much bigger that line work got over time. Look, dude, that's super gnarly, super blown out, but that's pretty common on the hip area. Like I wish I could tell you that this was for sure just a bad quality tattoo or the application wasn't done well. But honestly, one, it probably wasn't applied very well, but then also that's what happens with tattoos in some areas, and especially on the hip. See a lot of it, and it sucks because a lot of women get these like cute, dainty little fucking things right here. Tons of dudes to get them too, but mostly women. I am like always like, in 10 years, that's probably gonna look like super big and gnarly, even though we use like a super tight needle. And I try and tell people like, hey, just so you know, like all these things will be bigger and different than what it looks like fresh. But most people just don't understand it because they're not looking at enough healed photos. This one is 62 years old. Look at that, dude. That's your script on your arm. That's what that could potentially look like. I know that for a lot of people, they are like, hey, technology has changed, tattooing has gotten better, and that's for sure. Obviously, tattoo, inks, pigments, machines, everything has gotten better in tattooing. But one thing that hasn't changed at all is our skin. Our skin is the same skin from 100 million years ago. And the way that tattoos react in the skin can be the same for the rest of the time. So yes, this tattoo done today maybe look a little bit better in 60 years, but I'm a little skeptical. I think you get some script on your arm, pretty much gonna look like this in 60 years, which is cool. I like it. I think it's cool. I like that you can't even fucking read it. It's just rad. It's just like a reminder for this person like, hey, I had a tattoo once and I could even read it back then. But, a lot of you guys getting your little fine line, dainty word things, bro, when you're in your 80s, might look like this. And maybe you should have just got a big panther. Now, a lot of panthers don't look that good 6 years later anyway, so if you don't like this, don't get tattooed. Let's see some more. This one was really interesting to me. One, fucking weird that you're getting a Mickey Mouse this big, but I like it, dude. Super cool tattoo. Super weird, can't deny that, but yeah, cool. You know what? That yellow in the feet held up so well, but that brown in the Mickey fell away so fast. But I think this one's mostly about how big she used to be and then how small she got, and you can see how much that warped in there. Usually a lot of times people ask me like, if I get big, if I lose weight, what's the tattoo gonna look like? Usually for most people, you get big, you gain a bunch of weight, you get jacked, something along those lines, the tattoo's not gonna be affected that much unless you're making huge changes. If I gained like 300 pounds a day, obviously my tattoos aren't gonna look the same. But if I gained 100 pounds, there's not gonna be a whole lot of difference. Maybe a little bit in my stomach, but not a crazy amount. But when you lose weight, if you're a big dude, big woman getting hella tats, you wanna lose some weight, you wanna get on that Ozempic shit, that tattoo's gonna change for sure. And I have tattooed a handful of clients who I did tattoos on when they were big and then they lost a ton of weight. And then I had to fucking touch up the tattoo because it wasn't the same. The face, the structure, all that shit changes the moment you start losing a lot of weight. And that's just like the nature of tattooing. So yeah, let's keep going. Did this one, the knuckle banger? Okay, I've seen a ton of these knuckle bangers. I've worked with people who do knuckle bangers just like this, but a lot nicer, at least when they're freshly done. This is pretty much the quality you can expect, especially if you're like, you know, if you're like a dude who works in the sun, you work as a mechanic, you do things with your hands often, this is what your tattoos will look like. And reversely, if you're a woman who has very dainty, tight little fingers, they'll also pretty much look like this. Bad. This is why when people ask me for knuckle jobs, I try and keep it as simple as possible. Straight up, simple, easy. Because when people try and do a fucking peony on the middle finger, dude, it ain't gonna look good. It's just honesty. I have a friend, I won't mention, but he does crazy fucking shit on fingers and they look amazing. I guarantee you, all of you have seen his work and I have seen some that look amazing. I have seen some that look like shit. So be cautious. Okay, is it bad if I just rip off scabs? Someone help. Someone help me. It's so irritating. Okay, obviously, it's really bad to pick off scabs when you have a tattoo. Look, dude, it's pretty basic. Don't fucking rip off your scabs. But I gotta be honest with you. Bros, when I get tattooed, I'm ripping every scab off, dude. Every single scab, I'm like, dude, I'm a picky guy, dude. I like picking at shit. I will even say that if you're my friend and I tattoo you and I see you week after my tattoo, I'm gonna pick off your scabs, dude. My tattoos can handle it. They're fucking in the skin, dude. My tattoos are guaranteed 3 months after you're dead, dude. They are in the skin, dude. No scab pickers are gonna take off any ink off of my tattoos, dude. If you want a big scabby tat that you can pick at, mine are the tats.
I did it to mine. It pulls the ink out of the skin. Right there. Completely gone. Gone.
I gotta be honest. Maybe this is from picking at a scab. I don't think it is. I don't think it is. I've never seen someone pick at a scab and it be so perfectly out of the skin like that. If I had to guess, and I'm just taking a wild guess, I could be completely wrong. This guy might be like, you're an idiot. That's not what it is. It either looks like you have like a freckle or a mole there or something growing there, like something. I've never seen someone pick at a scab and it be so perfectly negative. Like there's no part of the tattoo that's in there. That looks like to me something else. But I could be completely wrong. I might be completely wrong. But yeah, picking at scabs, you will see a lot of times when people are like scab pickers and maybe the tattoo's not the highest quality, you'll see little holidays. And in a normal holiday, it'll look just like that, but there might be typically be still a gray haze from where the ink was. Again, I'm gonna take this guy at his word. I'm just kidding. It's he picked at his scab, the tattoo's gone. It just doesn't look like it to me. You know, what is the case on some things aren't always the case on other things. We were just talking about people gaining and losing weight after getting tattooed. I remember this one because I was shocked. Watch how Jim ruined my tattoos. I have never seen this bad of stretch marks through tattoos ever. And I've tattooed plenty of people who have gained tons and tons of weight from the gym, just like this. This is pretty astonishing to see. I will chop it up more to him just being prone to stretch marks. He gained a ton of weight and he got stretch marks. I do not think any of it has to do with the quality of the tattooing at all. And it just has a lot to do with this dude's skin. The moment he started gaining weight, he started getting stretch marks everywhere. Like all through his bicep, all through his chest. What looked like very nice, high quality tattoos. Crazy, kind of sad, a bummer. I want to say that a touch up will solve the problem, but I'm not sure. That's one of those things that I'd have to be going through it to actually see if the stretch marks can be worked with or if it's just a fucking lost cause and you just have to live with having stretch marks. Hey dude, you chose being buff and having tattoos, so good for you, but I guess this is something that can happen. It's rare, I will say. For all you skinny bros out there, I feel your pain, dudes. Gain the weight. Even if you got tattoos, it's all good. Most of you won't look like this. Muscles get chicks. Just like tattoos, so do both of them, I guess. Okay, on to the next.
You don't want your tattoos to scab.
Yeah.
A good way for a tattoo to heal properly is when it flakes.
Yeah.
If you're using the right products
Right.
and being smart about it, then your tattoo is not going to scab.
Yeah.
I hate almost all ointment companies, especially, I mean, some of these ones, and this one in particular, homeboy has never done a tattoo in his life. He is not a tattooer. He does not understand what a good tattoo is versus a bad tattoo, and he doesn't understand what the healing process actually looks like. A lot of these times, these business dudes, these guys who want to start business in the tattoo world, talk big game, but they don't know. And it drives me crazy when you see things like this, that it's like, scabbing is bad and flaking is good. And if you take care of your tattoo perfectly with my products, then you'll only get flakes. That's not the case, dog. First off, all of you guys know, if you have enough tattoos, we've all had tattoos that scabbed hella gnarly and then healed perfectly fine after that. So right off the bat, anyone who has enough tattoos understands that that is pretty much dog shit. Look, almost all ointment companies are the same. Maybe one or two I would ever think about promoting. I just can't get past this type of marketing that is like, we have the answers, use our stuff and you'll have a perfect healing tattoo. And it's like, no, dude, there's so much that goes into a tattoo and the healing process of a tattoo that using a particular ointment or another one isn't really gonna change the way it heals. Look, take care of your tattoos the best way you know how. Literally, you're the only one who knows how to do it, especially if once you're getting tattooed enough, you'll be like, okay, I understand what's happening with my skin. I understand what is the best procedure for me. It really is your responsibility when it comes to healing a tattoo. I know that that might not be what you want to hear, and you want to hear, oh, perfect, this is how I do it, but that's not the case. You need to do the work to understand how your body heals a tattoo. Look, I know some people who love Saniderm, only use Saniderm, that's all they'll ever use, no problem. I also know people who use Saniderm and their tattoos end up looking fucking way worse, like really bad, and Saniderm does really weird things to their skin and they just end up with awful looking tattoos because of that. And the same can be said for all of these ointment companies. What works for you might not work for someone else. And some people's tattoos only scab, always, every single time. They go to 20 different artists, they always get scabbing tattoos and the tattoos always look great. Other people get some flaky ass shit and the tattoo falls apart. So hey, it just drives me crazy. Dude, people who haven't spent a single day actually in tattoo shops telling you at home what a tattoo's supposed to look like. Use what works best for you. Maybe it is derm, dude. Maybe it's not, okay? Fuck. Drive me crazy. On a lighter note, dudes. Okay, this is kind of like something that's been popping off. A lot of people talking about like spirituality and tattoos. Most of it fucking annoying as shit. I will say, this guy, I like him. I think it's Andy Faux. I could be completely wrong, but hey, for the most part, I enjoy some of what he says.
That tattoo art is not good enough anymore. People are booking for the artists. So who you are as a person, I think makes a big difference.
Especially nowadays,
I'm gonna stop it right there because I already like what he's saying. I will tell you guys, a lot of you might know, dude, I'm not the world's greatest artist. It's just the reality of it. My tattoos are cool, but they're not like fucking mind-blowing. I got a secret for you if you want to be in the tattoo game and when you're picking people to get tattooed by. Some people are going to be better than you, and that's a fucking clear case for me. Like, there are tattooers who are fucking amazing in comparison to me. Do the same exact stuff, but just like on a mind-blowingly different, amazing, cool level. That's the truth. But you know what I got? You walk into my shop, you sit in my chair, I'm gonna make you feel like you're my homie. That's how you do it, dudes. It's not just about how good you are at tattooing. It's about how comfortable, how stoked, how much of an enjoyable experience your client can have with you. If you're an amazing fucking artist and you're a cool motherfucker, dude, nothing can get in your way. You're gonna be one of the busiest tattooers of all time. You're gonna eat forever, dude. It's just the reality of it. I know so many dickhead tattooers who are great artists, and dude, you couldn't pay me to fucking get tattooed by them. I'd rather shove a fucking knife up my ass than hang out with those people for a minute or get the crap they want to tattoo on you.
Nowadays, there's a bunch of artists that can slay a realism portrait, do it super realistic, and you're going to be splitting hairs when it's like, which is the best artist to do that. There's a bunch of really awesome artists there that I would love to have their work on me, but I only have so much room. So I'm like, who do I want to spend my day with, you know?
I know people who've lasered off amazing high quality work from artists that they've had like shitty experiences on, because like that energy is with you. So you look at that tattoo and it's like, this is how I have to remember this day or this interaction, and it's like, do you want that to be the reminder, or is it like a good person, a good experience, and a great tattoo? I'd rather it be the latter.
I will say that's the truth. I love these dudes. They're speaking truths, and I like that. In the tattoo world, you deal with a lot of people. I've had people who have tattooed me who have treated me like complete dog shit after the fact. Now, does it make me want to cover up the tattoos? Not necessarily, but it does leave a kind of ick when I look at them. I have blacked out some stuff that was done by one person in particular, but tattoos are not just about the fucking thing. It's about the whole thing, you know? Like, you walk into a shop, you want to feel comfortable, you want to feel like you're in a safe, sick, cool environment for your personal taste. That might not be every shop for you. That might be a very particular shop for you. Make sure you're finding those people. Make sure you're finding as much comfortableness as you can within tattooing, and that's gonna lead you with the best tattoos. Honestly, stoked for that. Usually I watch these, like realistically, I watch a lot of tattoo content, podcast things, and usually I'm like, shoot me. But these people, whatever they're doing, I can get down with. Okay, so tattoo numbing cream. Look, I go back and forth on numbing cream. One, I think that all of you can handle the pain. I just do. I have a firm belief, whatever tattoo you want, you're capable of pursuing and getting through with, yeah. That's pretty much the core belief I have with everything in life, is that you're capable of doing whatever you actually want to do. And numbing cream tends to just be a giant pain in my ass as a tattooer. And that's why, at the end of the day, I don't like numbing cream. I think that you're more than capable of getting through it without it. And if it's just like a pain in my butt at the end of the day, I don't want to use it. There's some other thoughts I have on it, which are, it's a pain in my butt and I really hate using it. A lot of times you'll tattoo someone, you know, let's say you're doing a chest piece. They need numbing cream. You're applying this shit on. You have to wait 15 minutes. Okay, cool. So then you're off tattooing, and then 15 minutes later, they're like, oh, I can feel it again. Can we apply more numbing cream? And I'm like, fuck, we just did that. I just killed 5 minutes ago doing that. So now I have to kill another 15 minutes to reapply this shit. And that's just kind of the way it goes with numbing cream. It's like apply, reapply, tattoo some, reapply some, put it back on. If you're a client of mine and you show up to the appointment and you want me to use the numbing cream, sure, I'll do it. I got no problem with it. I won't make fun of you that much. But, you know, believe it or not, I'm super about how convenient I can make something for myself. If that means that you got to go through a little bit more pain for that to be a little bit more convenient for me, that's how it's going to be. That's just how it's gonna be. And you might be at home being like, well, I would never get tattooed by Kirk because he wants to make things as convenient as possible for him. And I'd be like, then I ain't the guy for you. Because I want shit to be as easy as possible. I think that that's how you get the best results out of me. Because if I have to wait 2 hours for you to apply this stuff all over yourself, and then we do an hour of tattooing, and then I gotta reapply it, dude, by the end of that process, Daddy Kirk is no longer in a good mood. And yeah, that's just the reality of it. Let's go on to the next.
What do you think about fine line tattoos?
Yes.
What do you think about fine line tattoos? I hate them. What do you think about fine line tattoos?
Love them.
What do you think about fine line tattoos?
Trash. Just kidding. Trash. No, just kidding.
What do you think of fine line tattoos?
If they're done right, it's cool, but most of them look like shit.
We were waiting just for that. That's how I feel the most. She nails it. That's how I feel about fine line tattoos. Most people don't know how to apply them right. That might even be me sometimes, you know? Like sometimes I'm trying with those fucking fine line things because I gotta pay my rent and I gotta keep people happy. And sometimes I look at them and I'm like, I wonder if that's actually gonna look that good. It's just the reality of life, dude. And sometimes as tatters, we gotta just do stuff we don't wanna fucking do. I hope they look great, and I'm sure most of them do. Like realistically, let's be honest. I'm a pretty good tatter, but sometimes they look like shit.
What do you think about fine line tattoos?
If they're fine, they're fine. Otherwise, they're shit.
Okay. What do you think about fine line tattoos?
Hate them.
What do you think about fine line tattoos?
We did them in the 80s and they never held up.
She also made a very good point. I don't think most people understand that fine line tattoos have been around for a long time. Like, it's not a new thing, dude. There's been tatters who specialized in this type of like fine line, bikery fucking shit or Chicano type of stuff. And for a long time, they didn't look that great. You know, that's where the prison tattoos come from. I know you're like, fine line and prison tattoos, what are you talking about? They're pretty much the same. Super fine lines. And a lot of the times people with fine line tattoos don't look that great. Obviously, they were applied a lot shittier in prison. I'm not trying to make that comparison. So yeah, love them or hate them. What do you guys think? Leave them in the comments. Let me know what you think about fine line tattoos. Are you gonna go get them? Is that the only thing you get? Or can you not get them and get some traditional bold shit or some fucking biomech or something else? Okay, thank you guys. Appreciate you. I'll see you in a few days.